Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of NintendoFuse's Industry Talk. I'm your host, Barry, and today I'm joined by a good friend of mine, Mr. Sidney Dias.
Hey, how are you guys?
Sidney here is with Video Games Plus, or VGP. If you haven't heard of them, they are a huge video game retailer in Canada. They've got some awesome exclusives and awesome games, and we'll talk all about the company and Video Games Plus. But first, why don't you introduce yourself and give everybody a little background on you?
My name's Sidney, like Barry said. I've been with the Video Games Plus since over 20 years now, since the days of Super Nintendo. Started off in the when we were just kind of a mom and pop video game shop, and now I've been with the company and helped us grow into the website you see today. So a lot, everybody knows us in Canada and now growing in the U.S. and internationally. We have a lot of fans and a lot of customers worldwide. So I'm pretty much dabble in everything. I've been around so long, I pretty much know how to do everything. So yeah, I've done customer service, I've done shipping, I've done everything.
Okay. So why don't you go with the beginning? How did you join VGP? Like, why? Going back to the Super Nintendo age. It's a long
Well,
time.
yeah, like I mean, when I was growing up in high school, I always played video games. I loved video games. Um, Played, Super Nintendo, Nintendo Genesis, Atari 2600 was my first console as a kid, and I used to always go into the Video Games Plus store, and I used to do my trade-ins and all that kind of stuff, and buy gifts with birthday money and stuff. And then when I got my first job, I used to dump my whole paycheck and just buy, video games. So I got really familiar with the staff, and I've always had that like people person. So I had a good rapport with the customers. So I first started like working part time at VGP, and then as we branched off into different multiple stores, and then once kind of online kind of started taking off, we branched off to online, selling on eBay, and then we had our old web store, and now we have our new web store, which just launched like last June. And a lot of customers, and not that our old site was bad or anything, but the new site has more modern features like mobile site. A lot of features did carry over, like our points reward program for customers, and we're going to be looking to add a lot more different new features for customers as the years go on. But really, it's all a work in progress now. But we hope to add a lot more new features and options for customers.
Now, for those of us that aren't in Canada, could you give us a little bit about VGP? You mentioned about the game store. Is it like the equivalent of like a GameStop kind of deal, or
Um, it's
back then?
we're not as big as a GameStop. Right now, we only have one retail store left in Toronto. We did have in the Toronto area, we had about 3 or 4 stores at one time. But retail landscape has gone down over the years, and because we focused a lot more of online, we kind of branched, putting our efforts more into growing the online aspect and keeping our flagship store where it's pretty much where it's always kind of been, in that remote area. Um, and most people that lived in Toronto or grew up in Toronto, have always come in the store and told us like, "Oh man, when I was 6, I used to buy from you. Now I'm here with my kid." So it's cool to hear those stories and stuff. But yeah, the owners started off like as a mom and pop shop. We do the same kind of thing like a GameStop, trade-ins, and we used to do rentals back in the day. Those were really big in the PlayStation, Nintendo era. Not everybody could afford, $80 cartridges back then. But yeah, and then after that, we branched off to online. But it's still like family. It's still owned by the same original owners since like 1994. So it
Awesome.
just grew the company. That's all.
Yeah, they were smart, and that's awesome that it's mom and pop gone global. Really, it's mom and pop gone global.
Yeah.
One of the things that you do is you deal with a bunch of different publishers. What's that like, talking with all the different publishers?
It's great. Like, I've always tried to reach, now that we're growing our online presence and, our fan base around the world, one of the biggest issues, especially here in Canada, is some publishers just don't get that recognition, right? It's usually the bigger publishers get all the attention, mainly because sometimes they have those AAA titles, they have the marketing dollars, where with us, we like working with a lot of the Japanese companies, um, different indie studios and indie publishers, because sometimes they just don't get the recognition, and they have great games. Um, and sometimes people would buy those games if they were showcased more at, like, a GameStop or even a Best Buy or a Walmart. But sometimes they're just lost amongst all the other games. Where with our website and with our stores, we kind of try to showcase those different games. Like, hey, I never heard of that game before. Who makes that? And it's PCube makes that, right? So, like, we're a exclusive distributor of PCube in Canada. And now we carry a lot of limited print companies like Red Art. We've carried, premium games. We've carried, we bring in a lot of IM 8-bit stuff, right? And we're always trying to expand that. Like, we're willing to pretty much work with anybody that willing to work with us. So, I mean, ultimately the customer just wins, because we're just trying to create like a one-stop gaming shop, that people can just come and buy whatever they want.
And I've heard that, and I've done it myself as a collector, just being able to purchase from a bunch of different, smaller publishers all in one ticket kind of deal. And it
Yeah.
is that one-stop shop, that I think Amazon. That's one of the things Amazon did. They became that one-stop shop, and I think for video games, you guys are now that one-stop shop, which is really cool because there's a ton of different companies represented there. Uh, Now, you mentioned different companies. You also do some exclusives, and you have some exclusives, which is exciting now that you're getting into that. What's that process like? Like, do you get to pick, or do developers come to you, or is there any goals, any ones you really want to get, or?
Well, the first game we did that was kind of like exclusive to us, um, was Tokyo School Life with PCube. So that one came about that we were dealing with a lot of PCube games at the time, and I had noticed that it came out digitally, and then I inquired, like, "Hey, are you guys going to make this physically?" And they had no intention. So then we were like, "Hey, you know what?" At the time, the visual novel, genre was taking off. We were doing Steins Gate, Root Letter, all of those, and it was rated really good on Switch, rated really good on Steam. So, we took the chance and actually released it physically. We still have some for sale, but just because of the type of genre and type of game it is. But that was our first foray into that. And then we've just partnered with other people, and like, either on exclusive covers, like we have the exclusive cover on Ringo that was done with LRG. So we did the alternate cover there. We've carried alternate covers of Streets of Red, with PM as well. We do a lot of reprints. Like, we reprinted Mercenary Saga for Chronicles for Switch. So sometimes it's not necessarily an exclusive. We just like the idea that if the game could come back into market, into gamers' hands at affordable prices, why not?
Hey, you know what? There's so many games coming out, and it's really hard to afford them all. So there's always that one that slips through the crack, and
Yep.
it's always nice to have that, almost like a safety net. It's like,
Yeah.
you have this, Video Games Plus is a safety net, and I admit I've used Video Games Plus as a safety net with some things like play exclusives, and that I did not get a chance, and immediately went to Video Games Plus and was able to get it. So I am personally thankful for that, but I know that I'm not alone in that. You mentioned all these different, projects, and all these the exclusive covers, and stuff like Tokyo School Life. Is there any announcements maybe you can tease? Maybe something coming up, something planned? Is there, like, even just a little bit of a hint? Like, maybe something for Switch, or something for PlayStation, or something to pay attention to in the next month, or?
Well, we just recently announced, some new SRB titles with Red Art. So those are coming out March 4th, which is the Record of Lotus War for PS4, PS5, and Nintendo Switch. We're selling those extremely well. Probably sell out before launch if you haven't pre-ordered yet.
Great game.
And then we also have Tandem, which is Funstock's first foray into their own publishing brand. That's coming out March 25th. And then we are working with those publishers on new other games, ESRB. So we can't announce anything today, unfortunately, Barry. But
okay.
there are talks and plans in the coming soon. So hopefully within the next few weeks or months.
Hey, that's exciting right there. So ESRB exclusive from possible from Funstock and Red Art in the future. That is great for collectors, especially those of us that do enjoy the ESRB rated games. That's exciting too. I'm happy for you guys because that is big. There's a lot of us collectors out there.
Our ultimate goal with that is just trying to bring some titles to ESRB, because some people, they're avid collectors, but I get it, they don't want to carry PEGI rated covers or Asian rated covers in and sometimes you don't want to bring in a PEGI one and then go, oh man, they released ESRB afterwards. And
story of my life.
So it's great to partner with somebody that wants to do both. Like it's with Red Art, Record of Lotus is available on their website in PEGI. So if you live in Europe, you can grab the PEGI one, but people in North America can grab the ESRB one, right? And it's great. We just actually uploaded the front and back cover of I just got the artwork for that on all three versions. I just uploaded that to our website yesterday. So if anybody wants to take a look at what they look like, the artwork on the back is really cool. It's not really tiny fonts or anything, so it's actually really well done by Red Art.
Well, that's also another thing you mentioned about between PEGI and NA is with North American releases, the title is from the top down, but with PEGI, it's centered. So if you have them all lined up and there's your OCD, the title goes up and down, and like for me, it doesn't bother me, but I know some people with OCD, like, oh my god, that drives me crazy to have a PEGI copy.
Oh yes, for sure.
So you kind of touched on why VGP is special. Mom and pop started, evolved this one-stop shopping, but to you, why do you think VGP is so special?
Well, what drew me to VGP, like when I was young, and is still like in my heart of is that we've always been like about the gamer. So like I said, when I was young, I used to blow my complete paycheck on video games, and I used to shop at EB Games. I wasn't an exclusive buyer to only VGP at the time, and I happened to walk into up here in Canada, they're now GameStops, but at the time they were EB Games, but they were the same equivalent. And I had walked into a store and I had just finished Zelda Ocarina of Time on Nintendo 64, and I was looking for a new game. $300 in my pocket. Walked in the store, and clerk greeted me at EB Games and said, "Hey, are you looking for a great game? You can buy Zelda Ocarina of Time." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. That's why I'm here. I just finished it. So I'm looking for something new, and I don't know what can fill my plate right now." And so I just was looking around casually around the store, and back in the day they still do, I guess, have TVs running trailers and running game ads. So at the time, Siphon Filter had just come out for PlayStation 1, which but I never read up on it. I didn't know what it was. So I saw it playing on the TV, and I asked the clerk. I said, "Hey, what is that?" And he goes, "Man, it's Siphon Filter, man. It's great. It's like Metal Gear Solid." And I said, "Oh, it's like Metal Gear Solid? Well, personally, I'm not a big fan of like that whole sneaking around genre, action genre, but that's just my personal interest. And the guy blew up on me, and he just said, "You don't like Metal Gear Solid? Why are you in the store?" And I just was like, and I got taken back. Like, a gamer shouldn't be treated like, just because you don't like a particular genre, you shouldn't be treated like as like an outcast. And I was just like, well, okay, I'm never shopping here again. And after that, I pretty much never bought from them again. And then I just started buying it from VGP, and VGP always welcomed the gamers. There was always different gamers, and I always interacted with different guys. And I used to always, and what I liked was, even when I worked there, I'd always learn my customers. So I would know that, this customer always loved JRPGs. So when a JRPG came in, the guy didn't even need to research games. I would be like, "Yo, John," or "Hey, Tony, there's this new game to play." Or if there was a survival horror fan, I'd like, it would be easy because I would tell them, like, "Oh, it plays like Resident Evil, but a different perspective," and all that kind of stuff. And I used to love talking, and like, I used to have it when we used to have the rental wall. I used to try every game, every game. Doesn't matter what game it was, for like 10, 15 minutes. So I could get a gist of the game. So when people came in, they didn't even have to research, didn't have to know. I could just tell them. And I always had that, vibe, and always had that feel, right? So when we moved to online, that's what we did with customer service. Like, I have customers nowadays that email our customer service agents, and they're like, some people want to, like, they order an import, and they want to know if the cover is Asian, but is the Asian English? And I get off my desk, walk into my warehouse, and I snap a picture of the front and back and send it to customer service to send it to the customer. And the customer goes, "Great, that's the one I was looking for." Boom, and they buy it, right? Or little things like that, right? Or we listen, we read the comments, like, "Can you please ship it in a box?" Or, "I'm a collector." Stuff like, little things like that. You know, Customers that do that and do get that service, right? That's what keeps them coming back, right? We're always looking to add new customers, but we're also about retaining those customers. That's why we do like our plus point program. We do sales, like, we do really big Boxing Week sales, and we do Black Friday sales, and we do different sales. We do different remans. You know, a lot of them are surprises to people. They're like, "Oh my god, I didn't know you were doing Castlevania on 3DS." Stuff like that. And it's that passion. Like, we love seeing, like, and we love seeing people talk on, almost like, on our behalf. Like, a game gets announced, and people on Twitter are like, "Hey, is VGP carrying this?" Right? So, and the publisher themselves might not even know who we are, right? But to see that reaction is really comforting and really cool, right, from the customer standpoint. And everybody that does shop with us, they recommend us. And that, you know I can have a million marketing meetings, but one of the things I always bring up is word of mouth, right? So we've always had that word of mouth, either on forums, or you know um, message boards, chat rooms, discords, stuff like that. People always, "Hey, have you ever bought from them?" And then people are like, "Yeah, man, they're great," and stuff like that. You can trust them. And we have a big rapport with international customers. They know who we are, right? They've used us for many years. So, and that's what we always strive for. And that's what I always, that's what gets me to go to work, because it's not just a cookie cutter. Everybody at work is, we talk about sports, we talk about games. We're always like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that Nintendo announced this," or "What do you think of that?" Or, you know, or, "I can't believe, yeah, this game's on Game Pass. Oh my god, I don't have to buy it anymore." you Stuff like that. So, and we have fun with it, right? We play games. The crew plays games together, right? Back in the day, we used to play System Link games together. So it was all like, really, really cool, fun times, right? Not just working. Like, there's the corporate side, but then there's the human side too.
That is awesome. That is, I think, what makes any work environment better, but especially a team better. And customer service is so very important. And to go and do things like that and read the comments and cater to the needs, it's above and beyond. And you know what? That is enough of a reason why you should shop at VGP, because they're gonna care about you, and I think if you care about the customer, they're going to care back, and that is awesome. So I was going to ask you, why should people shop at VGP, but I think you really answered that question right there in your example, and that is true. So if you are interested in purchasing some video games, which I hope you are, you could definitely and you should go to videogamesplus.ca. They do ship internationally. They do ship to the States, and all their stuff is awesome and it's easy to find. Their new store is amazing and the variety is out of this world. And you could also follow them on Twitter for all their announcements at Video Games Plus with an underscore afterwards. That is Twitter, so please do check them out there. Sidney, I want to take just this moment to thank you very much for your time and for joining me for this episode. Any last words for our listeners and watchers?
No, just thank you guys again for the support. We always appreciate all our customers. Like Barry said, follow us on Twitter. We have a lot of announcements coming in the next few weeks with some of our partners. You don't want to miss out on those. And 2022 should be exciting for games for us and for our followers and for all our customers. And we do look forward to announcing a couple of cool things in the near future.
Color me excited. I absolutely can't wait. And for all your Nintendo news, information, podcasts, and more industry talks like this one right here, please subscribe to NintendoFuse at YouTube. We're on Facebook. We've got a Discord. We've got Twitter, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. Please give us some love. And thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day and take care.